Alors, comment ça va?
Moi, ça va très bien.
Ça te fait plaisir d'être là?
Ça me fait super plaisir d'être là.
Ouais.
On va faire ça en français ou on va le faire
On va
en
faire
anglais?
ça, je sais pas, je pense...
I think you should do it in English, right?
I think so too, because
everybody will understand English otherwise.
many people...
French is only French people who understand. So let's do this in English.
Let's do it in English.
Yeah. Or in Turkish.
Turkish for you is going to be a bit difficult.
As long as you don't do it in a language I don't know.
How many languages do you know already?
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, you have to know it's the first time for me. So you're my... You guys, this is my... So that you guys know, this is my first guest. And it's also my first dad and my only dad.
That was a nice one. I never heard first dad.
Yeah,
second
so
dad, third dad.
welcome to the... we called it Unboxed Exchange.
Unboxed Exchange.
Yeah, that's the name of the podcast.
And why... I'm going to do the podcast. And why is it
sure.
unboxed?
No, I think because it's like... Generally, like ideas are boxed and people have like like there's a general concept of everybody has the same idea and then you follow the pack. And that's like the box.
Yeah. So everything is in the box and this is unboxed.
And then it's
an open box kind of, right?
It's like an exchange
of
idea, and then I wish that I hope that in the future I'll have like people coming up and
you know your father, right?
I know my father, and that's why I'm kind of that's a good thing that it's
he's
not
an open book, but he's an open book, so he could be an open box as well. So maybe that's gonna hurt some feelings sometimes, depending on what you come up with.
I can beep.
You can beep?
I can beep.
Can I swear? Because sometimes, unfortunately, I do.
I like people that swears. I think
it releases some.
Yeah.
You know, your little brother hates swearing.
I know. I know.
So I try to be careful, but
I think it's a good thing to swear.
All right. Yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. My timing is not always very good.
Exactly. That's the biggest problem, but I think it's solvable. Also, I mean, how old are you, by the way? For our viewers,
I'm 55 years young.
55 years young, all right. So, this is the first time I'm doing this. As I said, welcome to Unboxed Exchange, and let's kick it out and let's see how it's gonna go. It's currently 1:30.
Completely unscripted. I love it.
Completely unscripted. So
by you and by me.
Yeah, it's completely random. So it's a full test. And we'll see where this brings us. And
I want to interrupt you. I just want to wish you good luck with this.
Thanks a lot.
It's the most important thing for me. Good luck with this.
Thank you very much.
You know, I don't believe too much in luck, but you know how to provocate luck. You provoke it, so I'm sure you're going to be successful.
Thank you.
I still wish you all the best with this. It's a great project. I love it.
I need all the luck I can get. So
all right. Enjoy
no, but
it.
I have a very good feeling about it. Like, this is actually us sitting down and then just like even just randomly chatting is showing me that there is actually it's something it's happening.
Yeah.
Because now it's just about like finding the people who wants to come and sit down.
Yeah. And first, probably since it's me, only 5 people are gonna watch it.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's a good record.
Maybe we'll catch somebody famous.
Yeah. So we're actually right now here in Istanbul, in Turkey, for the people that watch this, because I have no clue who's gonna watch. I mean, I have a clue, like our friends, your friends, and like friends of friends are gonna watch. So for you guys, we're currently in Istanbul, in this wonderful place called Eleos, who is... You tell us a bit about Eleos.
Eleos is a restaurant of my bacanak, they say in Turkey. It's my brother-in-law. It's probably the best fish restaurant in Turkey, if not in the world.
I agree.
I'm not shy saying it. It's true. It's not because it's my bacanak. It's absolutely true.
What's bacanak for the people?
Bacanak is my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And and also with Alex, his partner, we did a great job by creating Alex, the brand, with very high quality. And I'm glad they put their restaurants available to you to make your podcast.
It's amazing.
It's a great thing.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
That was really, really nice of Levent and Alex. I mean, the team.
And it was just like randomly. I remember I was just eating at that table just next to you, and then I had the idea of the podcast already started. Like, I had the mics, I had nearly all the setup, and the only thing that was left was like the location.
Here we are.
And I was sitting there and I was like, this looks really nice.
It's a great spot. I hope people are gonna like. So I guess they're gonna give their comments.
I hope. Yeah, please. If you guys like the spot, you know, like view? The view. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know in the comments.
He's gonna do it.
Let us know in the comments. No, yeah, but I was just there, and then I saw it, and I was like, this would be wonderful. And then by chance, Levent, the owner, so Levent is the bacanak of my dad, my enişte here in Turkey, and he was just there. He was sitting at the chair just like 2 meters ahead, and then I was like, should I just ask him?
Yeah.
And then I just stood up, I went there, I was like, hey, I have a project, this is what I wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. And he said, just come whenever you want.
You can ask, it's free.
Yeah.
Question is free.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's better not to ask when the risk is to get a no.
Yeah.
Then better not ask.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, sometimes.
Don't ask.
When you're scared to get a no, don't ask. When you're pretty sure you get a yes, ask. That's
a bit controversial, actually. A lot of people say just ask.
Controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you know the answer is probably going to be no, and it's important. When you really want to do it, you just do it, and then. You say,
that's what you mean. Okay, now I got it.
And not in this case.
No. Yeah, in general. So like, just do it. Yeah. Without asking. That's your.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you play.
But like, what do you say to people who are like, I'm scared of asking because I'm scared of getting like rejection?
No, I'm not scared of asking actually. When I don't ask is.
No, but you say like don't ask, but like for people who are like scared of asking because they're scared of getting like a negative answer to it.
Yeah, but it depends if you need a positive answer.
Yeah.
If you really need it and you're afraid that you're gonna get a negative, you have enough feedback and you think it's gonna be negative, don't ask the question, do it. But if you're pretty convinced that your question will get a positive answer and you just wanna be polite, sorry to say, but then ask the question. But if it's a question of timidity, that's a different story.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
You're talking about.
So what would be an advice about? Because I know you're a great guy about like.
Have a glass of wine before, or get a whiskey or a vodka shot or something. If that's the thing, but there's nothing to lose. I always say there's nothing. When there's nothing to lose, just go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much worse.
Definitely.
A question.
Do you wanna give us like a little brief feedback about like who you are, like what you do in life, and what's your purpose?
Wow, that's not a simple question.
I know.
To answer in short, so maybe you should go more into specific question. But yeah, beside that, I'm a Dutch entrepreneur, inventor. I love to invent. I have two wonderful kids.
He invents wonderful stuff.
Yeah. I think money is evil, and at the same time, money is great. So I would say, I have a few mottos in life, like, the greatest height are achieved against the wind. You get better by struggling a lot. I had a lot of very bad days, but then you look at. I tend to look at whatever it is at the positive side of it. Sometimes it's very difficult, but if you really dig, you can always find something relatively positive or very positive
in every situation.
In every situation.
Yeah.
I mean that's how I see it. Beside that, I've done so many things. Your father, as you know, was the first Dutch rally driver who scored a point. Was my dream to become a racing driver, but my parents weren't really supporting me in becoming a racing driver. That was not in their plan.
What year was that?
That was around, I would say, 89, 90.
Yeah.
Somewhere there. I was in Catalonia rally in Spain. And they were writing my name with YVAN, I think, because my license was with the Automobile Club of Monaco. So nobody could never find me. But I remember you were always very proud. And now your little brother is also very proud about that. I don't even have a single cup of that time. I was winning so many cups when I was an amateur. But
I remember being young, seeing so many of your cups. But
I didn't do it for the cups.
Yeah, no, for
I
sure.
did for the.
Yeah.
I was just having fun. I just loved it. So that would be the great memories. Beside the greatest memories, your birth and your brother's birth, probably the two best memories I have. How can I describe myself? I think family guy.
Yeah.
Loyalty above everything. Just trying to be cool, simple.
Yeah.
Not always easy.
Do good in life. Do good to people.
Yeah, I tend to think sometimes too much about other people than myself. That's not always paying off. It's not an advice I give you and your brother. But yeah.
It's in the genes.
Yeah, maybe. So
it's in the genes.
So yeah, but it's difficult to describe yourself. I think the others will have a different opinion about me, and it's always better to look what the others think. It's important to know what you think of yourself, but
exactly.
I think it's the image that you give, the people, how they know you is probably a better, more objective than what you think of yourself.
You think so?
In a way, yes, and sometimes you can disagree with that. I a lot disagree with probably misperception that I give to people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not always easy. It's not always. I don't always agree, but I think it's so important to se remettre en cause, to put yourself,
question yourself.
To question yourself.
Yeah.
Always. Constantly. I think.
Yeah.
But am I right? Am I wrong? I have no idea.
Yeah.
There's something I love to say, and sometimes it probably irritates people close to me, but it's. I wish common sense was more common.
Yeah. And there's one more thing that you say a lot that is actually true, but is benediction in disguise.
Yeah.
You believe a lot in that, I think.
A lot. Benediction in disguise. Well,
yeah.
You lost... you were supposed to have a sister, you never got her, and...
Tell us about that story,
Well, it's a summary. Like, you say benediction in disguise. I was arrested a few days in Turkey. Your Gigi was pregnant for...
My Gigi being my stepmom and being the wife of...
Who took care of you since you were 7 years old. And
who's like a mom for me.
Exactly, and she...
great relationship.
She lost the baby,
as
you know, and you were there. You were always there in the bad moments. You must be rock solid. You have lived every single negative thing that happened in my life. You were there, poor you. But so... Why there again? It's a benediction in disguise. It's because your brother was born like less than a year after that, and he would never be here. And he's a wonderful boy. I mean,
right?
You know how close I am to your brother. I think he did a better job with you in a way because he's overprotected. Maybe because of that.
I mean, I think it's, all that kind of stuff happens for a reason. So
I believe in that, in like destiny. It was meant to be. I became a person much more into faith. I pray on my own a lot with your brother. So
to who do you pray?
No, to God.
To God. Okay,
okay. Absolutely. And I wish that religion was used in a more peaceful way, generally speaking. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of misconception and misuse of it. But I kind of not like to go into discussion about religious.
I love
side.
it. I love having discussion about religious stuff. Mainly my friends, they always say no discussion about religion and stuff like that. But it's a subject that I love.
Well, you can ask me questions, I will answer.
Right?
I'm not gonna go into a deep discussion about it.
No, I think that you need to have a few glasses of alcohol to go into that type of deep discussion about religious and politics and all that. It's always more enjoyable, I'd say. But I think it's also important right now that you explain us about you said you got arrested. I know about all that story, but it's a good thing that you explain a little bit to give more context to the people. I mean, people are maybe gonna watch. I hope people are gonna watch, but just to have a little bit of context of what happened, how it happened, and I think there was a whole case about it, and then you got
I won the case.
Yeah, you won the case, so it's important to know that.
Oh, it's a case that is typically related to Turkey.
Okay.
I mean, let's call a dog, a cat, but it's a corrupt country. There's a lot of corruption. And your father has a lot of ideas and innovative ideas. They're things that I thought about 10 years before anybody else, or 20 years before anybody else. So I developed a card that was a supporter card, like supporters of fanatics of football clubs, supporting your club. At the same time, it would give you discounts in shop and meant to become a credit card, even a payment card. And at the same time, you could win prizes. So it was a milipiango. It was a kind of
lottery.
Lottery. Yeah. So I remember it like yesterday. I had a full-time lawyer working for me because I was so scared.
Of course.
Of this country, you need to know what to do. So.
Well, for every country, wherever you're going to do
wherever
that,
you go, but
to,
here especially.
Especially, for sure.
So I was warned a lot. Be careful, be careful. A lot of people working for me, huge project, sponsor of Galatasaray, which maybe was a mistake because irritated probably other people. And so I knew that I had to do a great launch party.
Yeah.
And so spent a lot of money, made a huge launch party on the Bosphorus.
PR, right? It's PR.
PR event. And there were very famous singers came, and so I really spent a lot of money, a lot of energy, and I used an agency to do that. And that agency, actually, I was paying huge amounts of money to that agency.
You were using the agency as
to organize.
To organize, yeah.
Yeah, to organize.
They were a third party.
A third party.
Yeah.
And I was paying them tremendous amounts of money to organize the events, to organize my PR, to organize publicity. So, we're talking in huge amounts in dollars, not like a few thousand, like
hundreds.
Yeah. And so when the launch of my project took place, it was called Dreamcard.
Okay.
The dream became a nightmare, but when I launched that project and I came to the evening, I had invited really important people from Europe.
Yeah.
And when I came a little bit late with your stepmother, with Gigi.
You mean came late to the event, right?
To the event.
Yeah.
To receive the people, to go at the entrance and stand. I realized that the agency was standing there with his wife, the owner with his wife, his son, his children, and he was standing there and immediately I felt like something is wrong, like I was kind of nearly pushed to the side, and he knew absolutely every single person who came, and I didn't know anybody.
Wow.
And I didn't see anybody that I had asked him to invite, whether it's from Monaco where I grew up or elsewhere in Europe.
How many people were there?
I don't know. There were supposed to be, I think, 300-400, and there were like 600-700. And so what I quickly realized is, like, by asking questions to the people, they're saying, yeah, this is the launch or the PR party of the agency. And the people didn't even know they were coming for a Dreamcard launch.
Oh my God.
So the guy actually was using my money to do his own PR. But I'm in business since I'm 16 years old.
Yeah.
So I really quickly realized. And it was horrible. There was my wife was, Ebru was telling me, like, there are not so many famous people. These are some journalists. They were clients of his and friends of his.
Yeah.
So your father. So I said, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah. That same night?
Yeah, same night. And I said, hey, this is not the deal. And my investors were there also, and he said, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
This is like nobody knew about it, and then they kind of discovered, but it wasn't really like a Dreamcard party. It was that agency party. And I said, hey, you have to know, I'm not going to pay you.
Obviously.
I'm not going to pay you for this.
Yeah.
Not even dead. And
how was like the payment terms? Did you like pay something in advance?
Of course.
Like
a lot was paid in advance, but there is another story. Like, there was supposed to be, as you asked, like 300-400, and it ended up 700.
Yeah.
And the place there was owned by Swiss Hotel that time, I believe, and they came with a huge bill.
Yeah.
Because there was more people, and I had to sign it.
But you mean Swiss Hotel invoiced you?
Yeah, of course.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I thought they invoiced.
They came to me to sign it, and I said, otherwise we pull the plug out.
Yeah.
So I was professional enough, or like okay, but I even warned them. I say I'm signing, but I'm not paying.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay.
Yeah.
So to make that story short, we did the evening and this, and there was no way I was going to pay.
Yeah.
So he started to threaten me. That the owner of that agency started to threaten me directly, indirectly. Started even threatening my lawyer, and then he said something. He said to me, or he said it also to the lawyer. He said, like Iwan will see what I'm talking about, what's going to happen to him. But I said, if you have a problem, just come and see me face to face. You can talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I will face you. It's no problem. You don't need to make me threats. And so we went on the holiday where you were.
Yeah.
In Antalya that summer.
That's the most craziest story ever.
And I will always remember.
It's like
the reception calls me when we were at the pool, and I say to Ebru, hey, they're calling. Can you go, please? Because I don't know what it is.
And you were not speaking that good of a Turkish.
I wasn't speaking Turkish nearly at all that time.
So you were, to give a context, you were in Antalya.
Yeah, in Antalya.
This happens, what you're right now explaining, this happens how long after this event?
Not long after. Because now I lost a lot of money and I had to start over again in a way, and so I found new investors, and myself I decided to invest more money in it. And so in the summer, this was 2003 or 2004.
I think
maybe
it was
2004. I think summer 2004, I believe, but it's not that important. 2003, 2004. Anyhow, so.
Oh yeah, 2004 because of Lara.
Of?
Lara.
Lara, yeah.
So it was 2004. She was 2004.
2004, yeah.
So it was 2004.
Yeah. And
so the event happens, and then how long after?
So anyway, a few months
after, yeah.
And that happens, and
you're in Antalya.
Antalya, out of the blue, reception of the hotel calls me on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
although I'm at the.
You're in the pool.
They say, "Can you come to the reception?" I was in the pool. Ebru's sister was there also. AJ, I remember. You were a very little boy. You were like 7 years old.
I remember yesterday.
7, 8, 9 years old. Yeah. And so she goes and she calls me, say, you have to come, because what actually happened is when I said, okay, I'm coming, but what is it? No, I can't tell you. You have to come. And when I came, there was police everywhere. There was even the army outside that time. It was a huge event.
I remember of policemen around the pool and stuff like.
Yeah, they were everywhere, because this was all organized.
Okay.
This was just criminally organized. But when you criminally organize, obviously not everybody knows about it. So they do their job.
Yeah.
Because they're told to do a job. It's the ones who tell them to do the job that probably knew what was going on. It was all a big setup. So
is it really necessary to bring up 150 mans just to
But that's welcome to Turkey. So maybe it's not anymore like that, and I don't care. But that, I don't want to go deep
too much into
details, because otherwise
you
need to do a podcast only on this.
For sure.
But to make the story short, we had to. Ebru was pregnant 8 months, 7, 8 months, and we had to be transferred to Istanbul They wanted to send us by plane. They said that's not going to happen. My wife is pregnant until a year. You're not going to send her. We're not going by bus. And what's the problem? We can't tell. We see in Istanbul, and they discovered that. It was all a huge setup by the agency, who probably knew a prosecutor or whatever, and made it look like I was in Antalya to escape from Turkey, stealing millions of dollars from Turkish people, which actually I'm the one who lost money, and people won cars and things. I had maybe $100 revenue and spent maybe $2 million. I mean, to give a picture. But he got me, and then I was arrested. I will always remember when I was arrested. I was in it's called Vatan Street. That's where the main office of the police was, and it was the first and only time in my life that a cell closed. The noise there, ding, and there somebody came to see me and asked and said, the guy's name I will always remember, Murat, and he had blue eyes. The inspector said, "Are you going to pay?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Yeah, you have to pay. Are you going to pay?" So he was meaning like to pay the agency. He said, not even on my tomb, not even dead.
Yeah.
Forget about it. And Ebru had to sleep there, and you had to be there. And I remember, I think that Murat actually, that
He brought
guy,
me down.
he brought you to that place and said, your father is going to sleep here for the rest of his life instead of luxurious hotels, something like that, instead of 5 stars. Yeah. That's how bad people are, you know, and you will face this kind of people. You face them when you were young, and you will face them until the end of your life. There's just good and bad people, and you have to accept that. Sometimes it's more difficult than others. I learned a lot out of that. But, you know, benediction in disguise is the end of the story. I had the possibility to go out of the country legally, completely legally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when we arrived in the Netherlands that your stepmother lost your little sister and had to give birth to a just deceased
child.
And you were there again, in the hospital when it happened. So very, very, very rough experience. Of course, my first years here in Turkey, so it wasn't really funny. But you learn a lot from this kind of experience. The thing that I also always remember is I was going to the court case because it was a court case.
Yeah.
Like I was chete, like group cheating, whatever it was. And the unfortunate part is it's still in the newspapers nowadays.
Yeah. It's still
crazy.
There. Yeah.
And it is just crazy. It's a crazy story. But you know, the thing is, I went to every court case. I was flying into Turkey, going to court, and my father-in-law was even saying, like, Dede was saying, like, don't come, he's crazy. He was telling him, why is he coming?
Turkey here,
it's Turkey, he's crazy, they're going to arrest him or something. He said, no, I'm going to defend myself.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I learned I was so lucky with the judge at the end of the day. So actually, you could do a podcast about it. You could do a movie about what happened to me because I'm jumping a lot of details. When I went to the judge and the first judge to decide whether I was going to go to prison or not until trial, and everybody thought I was going to go. I took all responsibility. It's a big event, and my friend Tarkan was the translator there because they didn't get a translator for 3 days, and they did it on purpose on a weekend of holiday, so they got me 5 days. Just punishment. But
they're just trying to get you. They're just trying to catch you.
They made all the partners in the company lie against me, and this and this and this, and they after retracted all what they said.
All the lies.
Yeah, all the lies. They retracted them. I mean, it's kind of a big story.
Maybe one day we can arrange like a podcast about that story.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to something else. But yeah,
importantly, like long story short, you had a full lawsuit and you won the lawsuit.
It's not a law. Yeah, I mean there was a court case.
Yeah.
And at the end, I was proven innocent. There was nothing.
That's the most important.
Yeah, I just lost all the money.
Yeah.
And then they said you should counter-sue. You should sue the people. I said no. It just even today to talk about it is nice. It's fine. I mean, I'm super fine about it.
Yeah.
I want to tell the people that you can have the worst days in your life and still recover from it. You can see it as a positive experience. But at the same time, it remains an horrible event, an horrible story. But going to fight back, you're fighting a lost cause. It's not going to bring your sister back, and we don't want her to come back because we have a wonderful other boy.
Exactly.
So maybe it was, not maybe, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be, yeah, like destiny.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice story, which. I knew, but I didn't know.
I'm sure a lot of my friends don't know this.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't know the details. They're probably going to ask more details now, but they will make a podcast on that. We can make a movie about this.
I'm in.
So many other things.
I'm in. If we have any producers who are watching, like.
What else do you want to ask your father?
No, I mean, it's nothing specific. I know maybe you can tell to us a bit about your current like lifestyle, like what you doing. What you're working on? What's your projects?
What I'm working on at the moment is.
I know what you're working on. Like
the water.
It's better. It's better for you to explain.
I'm helping a friend in Monaco in a education business for French people.
Yep.
For French kids. I'm helping him.
And you're very.
So I'm on a part-time helping him on that because we spent 1 year in Monaco this year for your brother because he's playing in Monaco. Which I can openly say is a disaster.
Yeah.
Not at all what they promised. But, again, you learn so much more from these experiences than the great positive.
Of course.
I actually realized also that some friends I know, not really friends, and some other that I didn't expect are great friends.
Life.
But what I'm busy with nowadays is probably one of the most exciting things that I've ever been busy with. And there are so many things that I've been busy with that I invented, developed, and I loved it. Every single thing I did, I loved it. And the list is too long to mention now. But what I'm doing now is I got involved with another friend who asked me for help, and I do it with more than joy. It's like we find water.
You find water?
Yeah, anywhere in abundance.
Drinkable,
clean water, not groundwater. I don't want to go into details because it's going to be too long.
No technical details, but like just
details.
general.
So yeah, I have this friend who's part of a group of partners, and one of the main inventor has passed away a few years back, and they actually invented a real technology to locate clean water. Not always very deep, but it's like
precise.
So precise. Okay. Like they're gonna say at this spot, at 120 meter depth, 410 meter depth, 75 meter depth, this exact spot, there's gonna be water under pressure. It's clean. So.
All right.
Thank you. No, it's 2:00.
So that's another thing. That's another thing that I have to remember for my next podcast is to cut that thing.
No, people know we did this at 14 hours.
It's 14 hours, guys.
It's 14 hours we're talking. So
the reason for that is actually because it improves productivity.
Oh,
so that
great. Okay.
So every hour.
You mean counts. I should switch it on
no, not really. But for any people,
not very productive.
Like, I think you are. But that's my own point of view.
A lot of waste, trust me. But to come back to the water. So spotting water with an exactitude that is unmatched, never seen of. So you know what is the fun about this and why I love it? Because nobody believes it. So that makes me so motivated because I know it's true.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
You saw it.
Yeah, and multiple. That's why. I told him, hey, listen, show me something.
Yeah.
He said, why you didn't tell me before? I said, because Iwan, we know you. We're not going to ask you for help and try and go out and do this on a bigger scale if we're not 100% sure, because we know what you're going to do.
Exactly.
And I'm moving very fast already.
How long has it been like?
Like it's been only 2 months.
Right.
I'm already with some local governments in some countries, and I can't give the information yet because they asked me to. But it's just revolutionary. And can you imagine if? And there's no if. It's only when this is going to really be taking traction. Water is better than gold. Water is better than petrol. Petrol, name it.
So what do you say to people who say that there's no more water? Like,
there's water. There's water.
There is water.
There's plenty.
There's
plenty.
More
water below Earth than all the oceans, lakes, rivers,
so you can
groundwater united.
You can guarantee
combined.
You can guarantee that there.
We guarantee.
Yeah, there's always going to be water.
Yeah, and you don't pay. You only pay. The beauty of the business I've just entered is like the clients they only pay when there's water. Now maybe the price is going to be high, but listen, it's water.
It's water, yeah, for sure.
And go try yourself. Generally, we do it at places where there is no more hope. They tried everything, they tested, they drilled, and there is nothing. So that's what is great.
Yeah.
Because then they say, well, anyway, you're not going to fight. And we find, and so I've received the proof, the evidence. I've seen it with my eyes from the videos that are, of course, completely genuine, and now really advanced talks already for several
locations.
Locations. I mean, several files are open at the moment, and so it's a great period of after having a lot of difficulties and still struggling, as you know.
I know.
It's okay for me to struggle. It's okay. I sometimes ask myself, was I more happy when I was, because people need to know I'm broke, and I don't have a problem with, but I don't say I'm going to be broke tomorrow, but today I'm broke. I'm broke for quite some period of time, and it's easy to
ups and downs,
but I can easily say it's my brother was responsible for me being broke, but it's not going to help the cause. It's my own fault to have trusted him in some things I maybe shouldn't have, but that's fine with me. But I'm broke.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't take away that I still am staying positive, and I'm not. My aim is maybe not to be as broke as I'm today tomorrow. But what I also realize, again, there's not only negativity in, for example, being broke. You realize the real values of so many more things.
Yeah.
Because actually, I was born rich.
Exactly.
Your grandparents.
Yeah.
I made huge amounts of money on my own.
Yeah.
And I spend even more huge amounts of money on my own.
Yep.
But I know that the friends I have today are the real ones. And so when you have a lot of money, you never know who are your true friends. Trust me. That is a fact.
Yeah.
It's the ones you had before, during, and after that are the real ones. So that's why money is so dangerous.
Would that be the biggest lesson that you learned from being broke?
Yeah,
would that be the biggest not opportunity, but would that be the best thing that happened from you being broke? Meaning, like, those are the real people that I have. Would that be the number one?
No. It's very important. No, I think it reinforced my love, respect, brotherhood, friendship with my closest, which is your stepmother, you, and your brother. Like, it made me realize how important it is to have around you those
who truly cares,
that really care for you and you really care for, like, no matter what, that you would kill for. And you think twice before doing stupid things. You think more, and you value that very close family bonds. Like, your stepmother is my best friend, and I pray that she always be.
Hopefully.
And
they always do that.
I don't say it because we're here, but you are the most wonderful boy I could hope for.
Thank you very much.
Your brother is in a different way. In a way, he's more lucky than you. In another way, he's not, because I think I'm far too nice.
Yeah. I agree.
Not nice, but yeah, that's another discussion.
It's a long one.
That's another long one. I think you are much more self-made in one way.
Yeah, for sure.
But what I do with your brother and didn't do with you is the way I help him to try to be successful in basketball is very misunderstood many times.
Yeah.
I'm not making it easy for him, but I have to admit sometimes that it's a kind of, this is going to be misinterpreted in a very negative way, but he's a kind of project. It became a kind of project. Sometimes, this is funny, I never told you this. You look at my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You look at my private Instagram. It's 90% your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And 10% is the rest, like your
like
stepmother, you and me.
Your new pillow, or your, like...
I mean, so it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
But it's out of my control. But at the same time, he would say to anybody, don't ask my father, he's never going to agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask my father if I was good, because I'm going to say he wasn't. Don't ask my father, because... So I try to do with him what I wished my parents had done with me to become successful as a racing driver.
Exactly.
So...
But you do that also because that's what he, like, wants for his life. He's the one who's like, I want to be... That's what he always said, and that's what he's still saying. He's like, I want to be the best in the world. I want to be number one. And you know, as a 55-year-old, that's my view on the situation. You know, as a 55-year-old, with all the experience you have, that in order to achieve that, you have to do all those sacrifices.
Yeah.
And that's the reason you do that. You don't do that just to be...
I do it because I truly, strongly believe he can achieve it.
Yeah.
But I also am 100% convinced that since his main handicap is his family, because it's the comfort, he's a full fridge. Okay, I'm broke, but I'm still helping him. We survive.
He has a wonderful mom
we could go to America 2 years. Who can?
Yeah.
We went to Spain 1 year. Who can? We went to Monaco 1 year. Who can? It's a miracle, but it happened.
Yeah.
And I think that I protect him against the 90% of probably maybe. I shouldn't put a percentage, but the tremendous majority of people who are so bad, who don't want him to succeed.
Yeah.
Because people don't want you to succeed. And I mean this to you. And you will always face this. And a lot of people who you think they want you to succeed, in reality they don't want you to succeed because they will be jealous of your success. So some of the people, you will never know it until you even die. Even after you pass away, during your entire life you would never have learned. Some of them, slowly you realize that actually every time something really nice happens to you, they're not that happy. You don't see the real true happiness.
Yeah.
So they're there to help you in bad days because they want you to stay in the bad days. I had a few of those. So the people, I try to explain your brother, like there are not that many people who actually want you to succeed.
Of course not.
And so I'm omnipresent.
Yeah.
But it's more to protect him, and on one side, to push him on the other side, to make it as difficult as possible, because I love statistics. So you look at statistics. His dream is NBA, and he wants to be great, right? It's everybody's he's dreaming. You should do studies. No, I say no. 51% basketball, 49% studies. It's like that, family decision. Until he gives up, which means if he doesn't do what is necessary, and he does more than necessary to achieve it, and actually he's punished so many times for that because of the jealousy. Monaco at the moment is a great example. Did nothing to help him. I mean, it's just insane sometimes how things are dishonest, are biased. So I'm there to.
What's the
and
lesson?
A lot of kids would have given up.
Yeah.
And he doesn't give up, but one of the reasons he probably doesn't give up is also the family support. And so I have to tell him, this is right, this is wrong. A lot of the wrong is myself. I have to sometimes take steps back, and he has an agent now, as you know, and that is a great feeling for me.
It's like the
takes that part away
best
from
decision
me.
that you guys made.
Because whatever I would have said to a club, if he says it triple, they're going to respect it. If I say it, nobody respects it. It's a reality. So a lot of lessons learned from there, but to come back to the initial point what I was making, it's like a kind of project, and it has a negative connotation because you should never say that.
I agree, because it's not really like I don't also like the term project, because it's like,
but it's, you have to be honest with yourself what people are going to think about it, and it's probably the wrong name, but when you try to help somebody to such an extreme where you sacrifice your own existence nearly, like everything you do is first of all, okay, what should we do to help him being successful? It becomes a project. It becomes like a company. It becomes like because that is, if I for the water business have to move to Dubai, to
for example,
New York, to Amsterdam, I would have to go to New York, Amsterdam. Now, what I did, we moved 2 years to the United States, not because I had something to do in the United States, because we wanted him to have the best skill set in the world, so he trained with the best skills trainers in the world. And why we went to Spain, because it's one of the best clubs, Valencia in Spain. And why to Monaco, because they said that, again, it's all the time, it wasn't because I had a business there, it was because that was supposed to be the best option for him. And so now he's going to face another dilemma, and it's a very funny and important one when we talk about this subject. So he has, I know, and a lot of people don't want to be fine with this, but he has so many offers.
For sure.
He can play anywhere. Like, 2 days ago, America called again, please, full scholarship. And when you say full scholarship here, they all will run.
No, for sure.
Run. if he knows, thanks to, I believe me, and all of us, that if he grows up in basketball in the United States,
he has no chance
to go to the NBA. Like I made this huge statement, and more people agree with me. If Luka Doncic, instead of going to Real Madrid, would have gone to America, with his style of play, I'm not sure he would yet be in the NBA.
Do you think so?
I'm not sure. Nobody will never know.
Yeah, for sure.
But the NBA adapted to Doncic. It's not Doncic who adapted to the NBA.
Yeah.
And if he had gone as a 14-year-old to America, he would have had to adapt to high school,
to the local
and college there.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't happen because there will all be these freaking athletes jumping all over him, and they wouldn't even look at him.
Yeah.
So he developed a great game IQ through a fantastic club, Real Madrid. And when he went, if you look at it, half of the journalists, they were saying he has no chance. No chance.
Yeah.
And now he's a megastar.
Look at him.
So for me, unless you're 7 feet tall, I mean, if you're 2m10, 2m15, 2m20, go to America, go to anywhere in the world, you want to play basketball, you're going to become professional, and have a big chance to go to the NBA. But for Efe, who's probably going to end up being somewhere around 6'4", 5, 6, 6'3" for sure.
190, 195.
Yeah, 190, 95. As a playmaker, this is perfect. But so he understood that. But so this other coach, he had a possibility of a full scholarship in California. He has now a full scholarship in Nevada. He says, no. Okay, so he's going to go for tournaments and this, but he's not the kind of kid who wants to have 1 million followers on Instagram at the moment.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's better.
I'm amazed, yeah.
We don't want. We also don't want. We never advise when he's not like that.
Yeah, he's not like that.
And it's a handicap sometimes, but at the long term, I believe that he's going to get to really quality coaches, because it's about quality coaches who see his potential, like his agent Vlada understand perfectly.
Yeah. The
one who can best describe him is Vlada, actually.
Yeah.
Vlada knows him so well. Vlada had wished that he stayed he came to Partizan last year, which didn't happen. We opted for Monaco, but
which I think was the first.
It was the first mistake.
From all the decision you made.
Yeah, and I take the responsibility.
No,
although 100%, there was nobody who gave me an alternative.
For sure.
You know, they were even saying, "Don't stay in Spain. This is a better option. They're going to build around him, and all the promises made."
Yeah.
And I took the decision. So when you take a decision, you take the responsibility. You cannot say as an excuse, "Everybody told me it's the best choice." I could have taken the supposedly wrong choice, which would have been a better one. But at the end of the day, we learn from this.
Exactly.
A lot. But so he has a lot of opportunities still.
Yeah.
Every month. And now we know we're going to change next year. And so now there is dilemma going back to Spain, staying somewhere in France, going to Germany, going to the United States. But, you know, it's nearly all of them are cross. So Spain is great. For basketball is great.
That's what I wanted to ask, because like for people watching, maybe there are going to be kids watching, maybe there's going to be like young people watching. And like, how long have you been like into the basketball?
It's been 11 years, and I would say the last 6 years, mega intensively.
Right.
I think I can talk about Turkish basketball.
Yeah.
I can talk about US basketball. I can talk about Spanish basketball and French basketball. And I can talk about basketball in general.
In general, yeah, that's my point.
And I can talk about the difference between coach, trainer, skills trainer, other trainers, know, different systems, countries.
You have a very clear
more
mind.
Defense and others more offense, and I have a very, very clear understanding.
Exactly.
And I, not as a biased coach or as a biased trainer, because if I would be a trainer, my method would probably be the best.
Yeah.
As a coach, a biased coach, my coaching would probably be the best.
Of course, because you have an agenda.
Right?
You have.
So I don't have that agenda.
Yeah.
So I see all different coaches without being a coach.
Exactly.
I see all different trainers without being a trainer. I see all different players without being a player. I see all different parents without being while being a parent.
While being a parent, of course.
But so I see all these different reactions, and it's super interesting. But then there is a part of the family who says, because there's also opportunities in Turkey. And Turkey is a great country for basketball.
Yeah.
It is. But it's like, yeah, but if it would come back, because there are options, multiple options to come back, then they would say, yeah, but that's a failure. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Of course not.
But it depends on the club and the coach.
I don't think it's just that, but there are many.
But you know what happened last summer.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like what I mean by that is like a failure is defined by many different. Like it's a whole thing. It's not just the coach and just the club. I'm not seeing, for example, Monaco as a failure.
No.
For me, it's not a failure.
No, but coming back in the sense like, oh, he couldn't succeed elsewhere, he's coming back. No,
it's not that.
He can go to America. The problem here is
perception.
When you say we're not going to America, they think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this is the only chance he has to succeed at very high level.
Yeah.
And
NBA level.
Yeah, NBA level.
Yeah.
So coming back here is definitely a big option. But it's going to depend on what the club exactly promises, black on white, and what the coach. It's going to be all about the coach.
Yeah.
Because if the coach wants to prove he's not good, it's so easy. If the coach wants to prove he's not going to be successful, it's so easy. You're dependent on the coach.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would be scared of here is, of course, again, politics. But the age he's going to, if he comes back to Turkey, for example, because honestly, it's going to be 90% between Spain and Turkey.
Yeah.
10% any other option.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say he comes back to Turkey. We have to make sure he's going to be 17. As you know, he's very strong.
Yep.
He's going to now start to develop in
Muscle.
width, in muscles. Although he's already very strong because he's...
No, it's a piece of muscle, but he's not like large.
He's 187, and it's funny when I say 187 because so many people say, oh, my kid is like 187, and he stands next to Efe, he's like 5 centimeters shorter.
There's always...
Okay, but he's like 187. He's 190 with shoes, so he's already pretty strong, and he's nearly 80 kilograms.
Yeah, small man.
Small man. And with his skill set, this is quite an advantage. But now you have to find a coach who appreciates these skills and uses them. In the right way, to pull the best out of him.
Course.
And for the team interest, because it's a team sport. It's not an individual sport. And to Turkey, I've said it before I left, and I say it today. There is a reason why this 80 million people country never sent a playmaker point guard to the NBA. It is the trainers. And the coaches. The Turkish trainer and coach. And I'm not criticizing them as much as before, but they have to realize this. And I think
obviously you're not talking about all of them, you're talking about the majority.
Yeah,
or
the majority.
And
if you question yourself, I question myself constantly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I regret what I said. I say, okay, I was maybe too much like this, too much. I learn.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about basketball the 4 or 5 past years.
So because I think that's the most important point we can make right now is like, what would be your recommendation as 55-year-old guy who knows a lot about basketball? What would be your number one recommendation to kids who says that, okay, I want to become the best? What should they do?
Oh, there's so many things. Well, it's
for the Turkish we have, because there's like millions of kids here in Turkey, and I know because I say that because I know it, that are dreaming to become professional players.
Okay, so first of all, if you don't have the discipline, you can forget it, and that discipline starts very young. You really need to want it more than anything else, and it's a lot of sacrifices. It's not easy to put your alarm in the morning early and go and train and be the best, be the fastest, be the strongest. It's not an easy thing, especially when you're a kid. If you're ready to say, okay, I'm not going to have girlfriends like my other friends, I'm not going to go to parties like my other friends, I'm not going to play all the time on PlayStation like my other friends, I'm going to be more focused on trying to find a poto, like they say here, and try to shoot, to put myself targets. I'm going to put so many shots every day. I'm going to find a place somewhere in the city, in the village, and whatever, and work out mentally, work out physically, and it depends with the ages, of course. But and then try to find different skills trainers, not one, because from the experience I know, and if it was very lucky because he had a great skills coach.
Yeah.
when he was young, in my opinion. When I compare it with what he did in the United States, was very close. So I think the best skills coaches are probably in the United States, but they're also spread all over the world. But for 10 you can find in the US, you can find one in all Europe. I mean, if you want to compare.
I got you, yeah.
So I think skills development.
Discipline and skills?
Discipline, skills. Convince your parents to support you. I think a kid without the support of his parents becomes really difficult. Unless he has no parents. It is a horrible thing, but can turn many times into an advantage.
Right.
Because it's the only thing he has. You know, why so many players in NBA are so successful? Because they didn't have a father, or they didn't have a mother, or they didn't have parents, or they came from nowhere, and you know, it was the only hope they had in life.
They had to be successful.
The problem in Turkey is probably, if you really want to be successful, parents are probably going to be a problem also, because they're going to say, oh, it's studies. They want their kids to study more than anything else. At a certain level, it becomes difficult to be good at both, or to have enough time for both, is one thing. I think that support has to be unconditional. It's not easy for parents, but it's very helpful for the kid, I believe.
Yeah. Do you think that, for example, while talking about skills, do you think that they can, for example, use YouTube as a source of?
Absolutely.
Because, like, how can kids?
Absolutely. I would definitely advise them. I would advise this so much to the trainers and
yeah, but I have a problem with the trainers is because trainers, they don't question themselves. No. Generally, that's my point of view of the situation.
Not all of them. But
not all of them, so
but
the big majority, they don't really question themselves on, like, am I doing a good job?
Yeah, but I think that's where the parents are so important, because if you communicate, communication, here we go.
Yeah.
The word is here. Communication, most important thing in life. Private life, professional life, whatever it is, communicate. You know, you and me communicate a lot.
A lot, yeah.
I communicate a lot with your brother. I communicate a lot with your stepmother, with Ebru, Gigi. Communication is key to everything. And actually, this would be the number one advice to a kid who wants to succeed. Communicate. Communicate with your parents. Communicate with your coach. Communicate with yourself through YouTube. Find what is the right thing for you. That's what I would say. And you know, look at successful people, what they used, what system they use. Inspire yourself by successful stories. And you know, I have a kind of hero.
Yeah.
A guy I really like so much is Djokovic.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I mean, guy.
Djokovic is it doesn't matter what he stands for. The fact is, he stands for it. It doesn't matter whether I agree or disagree. Fortunately, I agree with more than 90% of the things he stands for. But the fact that you are one against a million and still say, this is my point of view. So.
And stand your grounds.
Yeah, and stand your ground. So he's a great inspiration. And there's something that stuck me most. And I think this is so important for a kid. He had a dream. He visioned the dream. So when he was a kid, he wanted to become a tennis player. And he drew or something like that. He fabricated from paper, I don't know from what, but the Wimbledon cup. And he was holding it as if he was winning. And he visioned it. I believe so much in visioning success. I believe so much that this for kids, actually, if you keep on visioning, and then every time question yourself, did I do, you know, when you go to bed, did I do what I have to do to achieve that dream?
Yeah.
If you did, great. If you didn't, still sleep well. But when you wake up, say, I have to try to catch up what I didn't do yesterday. And I think that if you proceed like this, first of all, you're so happy. And you know, sometimes when you realize that you were wrong, you learn from yourself and you're happy about it because you solve a problem.
Yeah.
Because you know, okay, I didn't do it. Now you know. There's no more. You don't question yourself anymore because you admit to yourself you didn't do what was necessary to do. And I think for kids this is, and then at different ages, of course, this goes more and more. I also advise to kids and parents, don't burn out. Don't burn out. Do everything necessary, but do not burn out. That's my advice.
What? precise. What do you mean by burnout?
Burnout is don't do too much.
Okay.
Don't train too much. Train what is enough. Don't train too much, especially when you're young. That will come when you're 20, 21, 19, 18.
The too much you're talking about, the too much is about like the time, you mean? And like
yeah. Why? Because look at what's happening. Actually, I always look at statistics and what's happening.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening in the NBA. You see all these kids, very high picks, and they never play or rarely play, or they are failures.
Yeah.
And many times one of the main reasons of failures are injuries. So yeah, plenty of money. Zion Williamson, love the player, great, makes hundreds of millions of dollars, a beast. He's just injured all the time. And I believe it's because they burned him young.
But young, you mean? Okay.
When he was 14,
I was about
15,
to say
16,
I was about
17,
to say I think they burned him recently when he arrived in NBA.
All over the place, jumping. You look at it. I can talk about this because I saw it with my eyes. When you see how they play when they're 14, 15, 16, they dunk at 14, 15, 16, and they dunk, and again they jump all over the place non-stop. They don't play like in Europe 1 game a week. They play probably a game a day.
Yeah.
Training game, real game, tournament game. Some tournaments they play 3 games in a day.
Yeah.
So they burn them out physically. That's what I think, and I think that is something that I would be very, very careful as a player and as a parent.
Yeah. So don't burn yourself.
No.
That's the one of the tips.
Yourself. Be disciplined. Know what you want. Communicate with your parents. Tell them your dream. Share your dream. Get support of your dream. If somebody, don't try to convince people who don't want to listen and don't want to believe in you. Don't try to convince them. Lean on those who believe in you and give you hope and help you grow up. It's not because somebody wants to make it difficult. That's a different story. But try to always be with people who believe in you.
But that's very difficult at a young age. I mean, if we're talking right now to a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, 13, 14, 15.
Well, it's a message to parents. Then my message is to the parents. Believe in your kid.
Yeah.
He has a dream. You have to. Dreams are the most beautiful things for kids, in my opinion. We had dreams. If a parent is listening, I'm sure he had dreams when he was young. What would you want? You want your parents to support you in your dream. This is life is too short so many times. So, and just respect the dreams of your kid and give them support. Don't think about your own, it's not about you. It's not, it's if you want him to become a doctor and he doesn't want. And the same is valid for the opposite. I want to go back to what I said as a project. If I didn't want, I wouldn't push him. I'm not pushing him to be successful for me. I'm pushing him to be successful for him. The project is him. It's not me. It's not your mother. It's not you. It's him. But the danger, sometimes their parents, they want the kid to be successful for them. The kid doesn't even want to play basketball.
Yeah.
They're pushing him. He doesn't want. He's not interested. He doesn't want to wake up. He doesn't want to go to training.
Don't push him.
So you're going to disgust him, I think, from that. So I think it's very important to...
It's both sides.
It's both sides. So you have to... But if a kid wants it, help him. Give him everything, because there's nothing more beautiful than having a dream for a kid. And that feeling that your parents believe in you, believe in your dream. Now you believe you can fly.
Yeah.
That's why your brother sometimes scares me. Say, I think I can fly.
Yeah.
I believe I can fly.
I can believe I can fly. He said it a few times.
Don't like the singer anymore, but okay.
Yeah. So, to recap.
Yeah.
For kids, don't try, but be disciplined.
Yeah.
Communicate. Vision yourself.
Vision
yourself as a champion.
You can be.
And then
you can be.
Yeah. And then you said also skills, train your skills as much as possible.
Yes, skills is going to get you anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Whatever position. Well, the shorter you are, the more skills you know. The taller you are, the more skills you have. The easier it will be to be successful. But the shorter you are, if you know you're not going to be very tall, skill set is key.
Do you think size matters? I mean, obviously size matters. You can't be 150 and go and play in NBA or in professional. But
it definitely matters. But I'm disgusted by so many parents, trainers, coaches, the whole system, who actually makes shorter players believe they can't be successful just because they are shorter. Like there's 175, 180. Oh, he's never going to be a professional. He's never. That's why. So how tall are the guards in the main teams in the EuroLeague and making millions? On paper, they are maybe 178, 180. In reality, they are probably around 175 or at least under 180. I'm sure when they were young, they would say, oh, what a pity, he's short and this and this. You're never too short. It's just more difficult.
Yeah.
It's definitely more difficult, but sometimes being more difficult makes it easier because you know you have to fight more than the other one.
Exactly.
So size matters. Of course, it helps. But at the same time, the less you have size, the more you need to train to be successful. So you could end up with an advantage.
Yeah, I think you're a bit...
It's also, there's really positions in in basketball.
When you're tall and you're 210, I mean, I think it's like...
But if you're 210 and you work your skills, like you look this French kid, Victor Mbamba, he has skills, he has size, he has everything.
Yep.
Okay, he's a little bit skinny still, but he has all of it.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about a revolution, like a generational revolution.
Yeah, those young kids are crazy.
But besides that, you know, tall tend to be just, especially in Turkey, it's like give the ball to the tall, and this is not enough.
Yeah. Give the ball to the tall.
Yeah, that stays, and that especially at a young age.
Yeah.
Now you get at the age of Efe, where he's going to be turning 17 next summer, and now it's more like, okay, this is a team game. You know, if you can score. If you pass, you pass. It's an IQ sets and all this, so it's not anymore that simple. Like give the ball to the tall.
How can you improve your IQ, like basketball IQ? Do you have any? Do you think that like how could a player like develop his own basketball IQ? Because I think it's one of the most difficult thing to improve.
Well,
I think that you're very limited on the amount of stuff you can learn, you can develop in your basketball IQ. You can become a beast. Go take some proteins, take some shots every single goal. You become a beast. Go push. You know, like go and train every day to the gym with the right trainer. You become a beast. You want to be faster? Take a trainer. He's going to teach you exactly how to be faster.
Yeah.
But basketball IQ, I think it's.
I still think it develops. I still think that basketball IQ is something that develops over time. I think that again the coach has such a huge importance in this, making the right decisions, playing a lot of games, and that's the advantage that
so
playing a lot. I think helps you, and then you know if you repeat the same mistakes, you probably have a bigger IQ problem, and if you see a kid who solves those problems and you know, but realizes the problem and say, okay, yeah, I get it, I get you, you know, that makes sense, and then corrects it. Now you see that the kid has a higher IQ, and then if he doesn't repeat it, means he has a better IQ. I think that you can do a lot of stuff outside of basketball. I didn't do it yet, but I'm planning on putting Efe in a kind of survival camp, you know, to be able to survive.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean that develops this kind of, you know, like you have to find solutions to survive out of nothing and be inventive. I think, you know, basketball playmakers have to be inventive. They have to be, you know, it's instants. Every instant is a different one.
Yeah.
Every instant is a different one. So the more creativity you have and instant reaction to different situations, I think the better your game IQ will become and develop. You're going to make
watching games,
and I think watching a lot of games and not being afraid of making mistakes. That those are things that but maybe hey, I'm just Iwan, 55-year-old father of a kid who plays basketball, and I saw a lot, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you have generally. I think one of your best qualities is that you're capable of analyzing something from a third eye. and you're very capable, even though you're invested a lot in it, because obviously it's my brother, and you're in it since he's like 5-6 years old. So it's like nearly 10, 11 years now that you're in it. So it's very difficult to be objective and, say what you really think is the truth.
Mm.
And I think it's something you do really well. In general, for not only for basketball. Like in general, you're very capable to analyze.
Yeah,
and then,
but it's common sense. That's what I said in the beginning. I
yeah,
wish
but not
common sense
everybody.
was
Yeah,
more
but
common.
yeah, but not
everybody has
exactly.
that. No, that's. I admit, yes, I agree with you.
That's
Not
why I'm
everybody has.
asking, because even though you're 55-year-old dad of a boy, you still have all those qualities, and those are the reason why I ask you that, because I know that if kids really watch this, and I hope they will, and I strongly believe that if they really do that, vision themselves, discipline, communicate, and train their skills, even if you're 150, 160, if you're just a beast of skill, you'll succeed.
Yeah, I would. This is crazy what I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
but if I would be at the head of the Altyapı, they call it here, which is youth section of any big club, because it needs funds, and I would be able to convince the president of that club to invest for things that they don't invest in nowadays.
Yeah.
Within maximum 5 to 10 years, there would be not one but multiple playmakers in the Turkish playmakers in the NBA, because there's 80 million, because it's a country who loves basketball, etc. But there is an ego problem in the majority of cases that hinders this, and I think everybody would love to, but I think then there has to be a very big change in system, in mentality, and I'm going to offend a lot of people with this, and it's probably never going to happen, but it is so possible, but there has to be these dramatic changes, and some of them I mentioned them, and it is possible because there's no reason that it can't happen.
I think the number one reason that it can happen is all those kids are always outside playing basketball. There's basketball courts all over there's not that much, but there are, wherever there are those basketball courts, those kids are there, and they're grinding, and they're trying to play, and they're like,
I would, if I had the partners, I would organize a tournament with 10,000 players every year. I can do it easy.
Yeah.
It would make huge money.
Here in Turkey, you mean?
Oh, yeah, here in Turkey.
Yeah. To be honest, we went when we were
in Vegas.
In Vegas,
it's
the craziest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
It's not that difficult to organize. It's just a matter of having the right partners, money, funds, because it needs funds.
When you see 50,
communication.
When you see 50 courts,
50
next to each other,
and it can be done here.
And it can be done here. Yeah, technically there is a possibility.
Now you create vibes.
Value.
Yeah, but vibes, like more kids. More parents, more families, more Europeans come, Americans come, and they see, oh wow, now you can invite American teams, they mix each other, they see the difference. And this is actually, in my opinion, if you look at whole Europe and include Turkey to it, the number one country with potential should be Turkey.
Yeah.
And the ego of so many kills it. And it's
so
for
frustrating.
It's so frustrating.
I can imagine.
So many parents who just buy their way for their kids through it, and not thinking about making the right choices for development,
choices for the kid.
Yeah,
because your kid is never going to succeed. I mean, you can do it until a certain point.
Yeah,
it's like the same thing that happened with the national team.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to get into it, and I want to be very brief about it, but it's like, I told you guys, I said to you and I said to Ebru about Efe playing in the national team. What I said is like, don't even think about it.
If it didn't want.
If it didn't want.
I didn't want.
Don't even think about it. Let it be. And then when he's going to be a freaking beast, they're going to be coming up to you, and they won't have...
they ask us to change.
They won't have a chance.
Do it.
They won't have a chance. They can't not call him.
But you see... How bad can it be when there is such corruption at
the
youth level?
No, it's crazy. No, it's crazy.
Youth levels, under 16.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And that has to stop. And as long as that's... But so I want to make a very short parenthesis.
Yeah.
I think I would be nearly as happy, if not as happy, if another Turkish kid, because I love Turkey, you know this.
I know.
If another Turkish kid, playmaker, because it's such a key position in the game, it's the brain of the game. Another kid than your brother makes it to the NBA. I think I would be as happy, if maybe more happy.
Yeah.
I just want this country to send playmakers to the NBA because it has to be.
Yeah.
It's insane that it's only tall players.
And there's so many potential. There's
huge potential. You know, I want to give an example, and without talking about Efe, Arda.
I remember that kid. Oh my God.
Who was playing in Efes. He was killing it game after game after game, season after season after season.
He's such a, to be honest, he's such an example.
He's a great example.
For kids who want to like...
Kids watch Arda.
He's like...
Arda, who plays now, I believe, in the school, what is it?
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know.
What is it called? There is a school here in Göktuğ.
Bahçeşehir?
I think it's Başakşehir.
Bahçeşehir.
I think he plays in Başakşehir, Begele. He's short. He has that handicap. His entire playing career since he's a kid. Oh, he's going to be too short. Oh, he's going to finish when he's 12. Nobody's going to play him. When he's 13, nobody's going to play him. When he's 14, nobody's going to play him. He's now 16 years old. He wasn't taken to the national team. Don't talk about the scandal that happened to Efe. He wasn't taken to the national team of Turkey under 16. Is the biggest scandal in Turkish basketball under 16 because he brought Efes to championships. It's him. He carried the team, but just because he's short, just because he's not tall. And I love that kid. And
he's amazing. And he's amazing.
And I hope he's going to become professional. He hasn't been helped. I don't know, whoever trained him did a really good job at least, but it's mental.
I was exactly going to say that.
That kid, if he becomes professional, he has to thank himself for his mental persistency, strength, always continuing to believe. Bravo. It's a great example. Görücü, Arda Görücü. Remember that name. Lovely kid, fights for it, and I like to mention him. I prefer to mention him than mention a tall kid for who it's much more easy, who everybody has been helping. Actually, I don't think you help those kids by being so nice with them because you actually don't make them better.
No, for sure.
So...
On the contrary, they just get relaxed and like they get...
I just want Turkey to be more successful in their youth development and stop thinking you know it best because you don't. The proof is the results. And then don't cry that teams take so many American players. Try to ask your question, how did these American players train to get to that level? What system do they do? How do they play? They don't play like the Turkish playmakers, trust me.
Exactly. What do they do that we don't?
Yes. And stop thinking and believing that you know better because you don't. But I'm so happy that I stepped away from this. Like, now I'm just helping Efe in whatever we can.
More psychologically.
As an agent, I don't have to take those decisions. I don't mix anymore with this. I don't talk to the clubs directly. They talk to me and it's fine. As a parent, they maybe want to know my opinion. Well, if they listen to this, they know my opinion. I don't want him to waste another year. If my only thing to Efe and to the agent will be like, make sure the coach really wants him. It doesn't matter where.
But that would be
Belgium,
because you're talking,
Germany, France, Spain, US.
But now it's because
Turkey,
you're talking
Russia.
You're talking about
China.
Yeah, but that's the situation for your kid. It's what I'm saying is like for the kids that are out there, they don't really have that chance.
Communication, support from your parents, and just do your own homework.
What do you think is the threshold to like? Okay, I succeeded, and now I failed, and I have to find a B plan. What do you think is the threshold in the age?
Well, first of all, I think that if you have a B plan, it probably means that your A plan is not that much there. I think you cannot have a B plan as long as you don't get there. And that's too difficult to say, they're kids. But what I always say, and I was with a doctor like a few months back and he thought I was crazy because he was the sports doctor and he was kind of nearly pushing for studies and not for sport. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I was telling the doctor, like, no, priority is sport. You say, no, you're crazy. It has to be studies. I say, I'm 55, sir, doctor. If I want to go study to become a lawyer tomorrow, I can do that.
Yep.
If I want to be a lawyer, I can do that. If I want to be a doctor, I can do it.
Yep.
Maybe I'm not going to achieve it, but I can go there as much as a 20-year-old, 17-year-old, 25-year-old, 40-year-old, 60-year-old. You can do that. Physically, mentally, whatever your state is, but it's technically possible.
Yeah.
If you are 55 and say, you know what, I'm going to become an NBA player, I'm going to start basketball. Yeah. No.
My ass.
Yeah, exactly, my ass. So, and this is so true. So, when you want to do a career in sport, whether it's in basketball or any other sport, you only have that very limited time and pray that you don't get injured.
Yeah.
To achieve that goal. If you fail, you can still go for the alternative of studying and then working. You can try do the two at the same time. It's great.
Yeah.
And I think you should always try as hard as possible. But if your priority remains studies, go for studies as plan A and sport as plan B. But don't expect to become professional or anything at a very high level. There's no way.
It's not possible.
Find me an athlete, or you find maybe one exception or two, but find me from all the successful athletes, those who said, oh, you know, I was just working at school and do a little bit of soccer, a little bit of football, a little bit of basketball, a little bit of tennis. No, it doesn't exist. It's training, discipline, and sport first, and missing school, and trying to catch up later. And
swimming is the most craziest. Swimming,
yeah.
They swim the whole day.
Yeah. So
they're just all day long.
So it's and then when you fail, you know, because there's a moment like you fail. You start to be 20, 22, 25, depending on which sport, and then you say, okay, I can't do this, and somebody has to be influential enough to tell you, hey, listen,
it's time.
This should become your hobby or your second occupation, because otherwise you're going to become in depression. And there, again, communication and support, family support, friend support. But I think, that's how I would structure it.
Okay.
You only have one chance. And when I say one chance, it's a period in your life that you have that chance if you want to become an athlete or something that's related to sport and you want to be professional. And that time runs out. To become anything else which is related to studying, your time never runs out.
Of course.
So that's how I see it.
All right. Well, it has been 1 hour and 23 minutes we've been talking. It's now 2:50. I can see that they're setting up the play, so
so noises in the behind.
Yeah, noises in the behind. So we're gonna cut short.
If people want to hear more, they will let you know in the comments.
Yes. So I don't know. It's something like that.
We can like that.
Yeah,
like this, like in the comments.
Yeah. Or do something like follow us like this. You know.
Oh, yeah,
follow us. Click the button right there.
Follow him. Follow him. Yeah. And
follow us. I mean,
And then we can go deeper into this subject. We can talk about other subjects, which is more family. We can talk about Monaco. We can talk about rally more. We can talk about so many other stuff.
I would love that.
We can talk about Africa, all my experiences that I had in Africa, how I learned all the languages and all the people I know, and how it comes that I very easily connect with people, and then
big quality
the dinner with NBA players or something. I am available for you anytime you want.
Thank you very much.
We can go into subject deeper or new subject.
Big pleasure.
I think my life could be a movie, a long one.
Yeah. Maybe, if we make a few ones and then some ones. Yeah, Savarona. Savarona is a
the
whole
Monaco
thing.
Grand Prix, that we didn't talk about the Monaco Grand Prix.
We have to come
back.
Number
one organization and this kind of things.
Let's ask if they're available tomorrow and we can come back a little bit earlier and stay for a long time.
Let's see if the people are interested in,
of course,
in your cast, in your podcast, and if they want to know more of this boring 55-year-old
boring. I don't think it's boring.
Who feels like a Turkish.
I just think sometimes, I'm going to keep that for myself.
I would still have something more to say, but
I wanted go ahead go ahead.
Okay, so it's about the timing. We should actually maybe have started with that, but it's still, I think, important to remember that we cannot do this podcast and this thing what we did today without thinking back 10 days and what horrible events happened in Turkey. I think you agree with me.
Yes.
You would agree with me. And life can be so short, can end within seconds when you expect it the least. So, yeah, I as a father, I want to just present my deepest condolences to the people who lost a loved one or who are still suffering from this. And I really want to pray for them. Besides that, I really hope, and don't blame me for being this straightforward.
Oh my God.
Turkish people, you have a very short memory. This time, please don't forget this in 3 months, 6 months. These people don't deserve that you forget this in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. I want to give a short example. I have to do this. There are some rumors very close to me in a situation where there is a city where they want to check if the construction is really anti-seismic protection, good protection against earthquake. And you still have people who say, let's not do it, because if it is bad, our houses are worthless. I can't finish this, podcast with you without saying how worst can we be than thinking like this?
Yeah.
And then cry. I don't allow you to cry if you put money first when it's about life.
Yeah.
There are actually millions of people out there
on the street
who are on the street, but there are also millions of people who put money first. I know we're not going to do that, because what if it would collapse with the earthquake? Then our house is worthless. Well, guess what? You're worthless, because you're going to die. And you're fine with it.
Yeah.
And you're fine with that your rental is going to die. You're fine that your neighbor is going to die. I would be going and live in a tent if necessary. The time that they rebuild something solid, if I know where I live is not solid. You can
always find a solution. And
you find solutions. You solve the problem.
Yeah.
But you don't dig your head in the sand and say nothing is happening.
Yeah.
And that is why I hope I won't forget.
Yeah.
I'm not going to forget in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 10 years. The rest of my life, I'm not going to forget. I already don't forget what happened in 99 because my life lived it. I'm not going to forget this one because I see the disaster. There's so much crazy that could be avoided, and I hope, because I'm a son. Your grandfather was an architect, a pretty important one.
It's solvable. It's solvable.
It's completely preventable and solvable.
Yeah.
And I heard crazy numbers of more than 200,000 buildings were actually at risk in Istanbul.
Yeah.
I cannot start to begin what kind of drama we are facing. So if people are thinking that money is more important, that the value of their home is more important than the safety of the home, you're sick.
Yeah.
You need treatment. You're sick.
Well, I don't think
you're sick.
I don't think. I think it's.
I'm not laughing. You're sick.
No, I think it's also about it's our. We're in 2023. A lot of it's the consumption. We push people to consumption.
Yeah, but this is not about consumption.
It's not, but it's about having money.
Having money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
said.
So you have money. I hate money for that.
Yeah.
I love money for so many things. I hate money for that. Because you actually accept to take the risk to die because of the risk. And actually, it doesn't make sense, because if you fix the problem, you have even more money.
Exactly.
Because imagine, you have two houses next to each other. The one who has the money, which one is going to rent or buy? The one that is safe or the one is not safe?
The one is safe.
Of course. So you make money. You can sell your house double or triple or quadruple, 5 times the price. So it's just sticking your head in the sand and say, I can't see.
I think that right now we have to just,
but
take a little bit of time to.
Just terrible what happened.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's terrible. And it's if you have if people that are watching have like Turkish friends, please call them, ask them if they're fine, just give them your support.
Yeah.
Because we're not, I mean, I don't have family there. You don't have family there.
No, but actually, well, you know that Gigi has very close friends who lost everything.
Lost everything, but
we
still
send them so many stuff and this, and they are still in need so much.
Exactly, but what I mean by that is that we, even though we're not like really connected to it, the tremendous amount of emotions that goes through us.
I've been crying.
I never saw you like that.
I've been crying for hours.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because every single day it's like it keeps on going. So you're right with what you said about the buildings and all that. What I believe is that you're right, but right now it's not that time.
No,
I believe.
It's not, but that's what I'm saying is don't forget.
Yeah. Like I think that the people,
be a time this has to be, this point
course.
has to be raised. Yeah. Otherwise, don't cry when 200,000, not 200,000 buildings are going to collapse in Istanbul. Don't cry.
Yep.
Because you were told, you were warned.
And there are many professors that told what just
after
happened.
After 99, they said it. The new buildings collapsing. Now, some of them.
Let's not go into too much details.
We can have a very long discussion
let's go
about
too
this.
much.
At the moment,
too much details into that.
I think we need to respect what happened and mourn those because there's nothing we can do.
It's terrible.
It's great to see the solidarity between all the countries.
It is amazing.
It is great to see the solidarity between Turkish people. It is a shame to see so many thieves in this situation. It's despicable, but it's great. Let's stay on a positive note. I want to bring up. Help each other, love each other. Call somebody and say you love her.
Yes.
Call your mother, your father, your daughter, your son, your brother, your sister. Say, I love you. You have no idea how good it feels when somebody says, I love you. Even if you don't, if somebody calls you and says, I love you, and you don't like it, 15 hours, at
I'm
15
sorry about
hours,
that.
At 15 hours, Iwan is telling you, if you call somebody and says, I love you, you have no idea how good it feels.
You're right.
I love you.
I love you too. So we love you, Turkish people, even though we're not Turkish. Mainly, all my friends are Turkish. Like
they call him Rüzgar.
Rüzgar. All my Turkish friends, I love you guys, all of you, very, very much. Yeah. And I'm very sorry.
Doesn't mean I don't love. I love the Dutch people also.
Yeah,
I love the French.
For sure,
I love
me too.
I love the world.
But
I love good people.
Yeah.
I don't like bad people. So
I'm sorry for everything that's happening to you guys, and we hope that it's gonna get better. And I just wanted to finish on the note that I don't know if you watched the game of Trabzonspor against Basel. It was yesterday, and it's just like Fenerbahçe, who is one of the main club here in Turkey, Galatasaray, another one, and then Trabzonspor and Beşiktaş. Those are the four biggest club here in Turkey, and they were just for support. They're just together at that game.
Great.
And it's amazing to see that because they're very extreme. Yeah, but they're very extreme here in football.
This is not about sport. This is about brotherhood.
It's amazing.
And I was texting, I was reposting in the beginning to try to help a little bit, and I couldn't bear it anymore. But for me, they're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
This is how I feel it.
Yeah.
You like it, you don't like it, but they're all brothers and sisters to me, and it felt so bad. It felt like. To me, it felt so many brothers and sisters died. Yeah. Young and old, it doesn't matter. They and so many should not have died, but they died, and
it's very sad. It's very, very sad. And but as you say, there's always something positive in everything, and I think that seeing the amount of help internationally first, and then secondly the amount of help nationally. I have never ever experienced this in my entire life.
The Netherlands, 80. It wasn't finished. They were still going for a few hours. Yesterday or 2 days ago, they raised 88 million euros. Yeah. In the Netherlands, that is not just Turkish people, also Dutch people.
Dutch people, yeah.
That's how much it affected them.
But what shook me the most is the national, people, just the people. Yeah. Like you would have kids that would just give toys and they would write notes saying, hey, it's my toy, I enjoyed a lot with it, I hope it's going to help you. And that kid doesn't even know to who she or he is.
It's a question about let's not forget.
Yeah, let's not forget.
Let's not forget.
Yep.
If there's one thing I want to say about this, is let's not forget. Don't make politics out of this. Let's just not forget what happened. Let's try to do everything possible together to avoid this. The earthquakes are unavoidable. They will happen. Yeah. What is possible is to avoid them to be this catastrophic when it comes to human loss.
Yeah,
there's so much that can be avoided. And so that's why I say let's not forget.
Yep.
For those who passed away, it's an insult to them if they passed away for not changing nothing.
All right. You're right.
Yep. Anything else you want to add today? Or
if you can answer one question, but just with one short sentence, what could I ask? Like, what would you say to your younger self, your 25-year-old self? What would you say to him with all the experience that you just acquired for the past 55 years? What would you say?
Be patient and less sensitive, less emotional.
Less emotional and be patient. All right.
Emotions are nice, but
too much emotions
could be troublesome. Yeah, patience. Be patient. Listen to other people. Surround yourself with people that appreciate you and you appreciate them. Everything has to be both ways. Respect and be respected. But those are things that I've kind of lived by anyway. So if I would go back, I would go back to 90%, 99% the same. I was punished for doing good things. So if I was punished for doing bad things, and I did, so I'm not perfect. But yeah, being too emotional like me, I'm too emotional, doesn't always pay off in the way that you hope for.
Yeah.
But can I change that? No. And I advise it to a 25-year-old myself. Yeah. Would it change me? No.
No, right. Yeah. Very difficult.
But yeah, it's good to have some emotion, but too much. Anyway, too much of whatever is never good.
Never good. Well. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, my son.
It was a pleasure.
Always.
Let's do it again soon. Guys, thank you for listening. If you did listen. I mean, I don't think you did listen for 1 hour and 40 minutes, but it was a big pleasure.
You can take your time. Well, if you did, let us know.
God.
Wow.
You guys.
Because my brother says I'm boring.
Oh,
so.
my God.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then we'll...
Maybe see you another time.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see you...
Good luck.
Thank you.
I'll send you some people.
Yeah, please do.
That people will listen to.
Yeah.
I will send you some people that they will definitely listen.
Isn't it? It's enjoyable.
Look, we can't even end.
No, but but it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
I'm having a great conversation.
Yeah. For that is already great.
And it's like, I would really love to have people here and, controversial people that has like that want to say something, that want to teach something.
I controlled myself well, right? On the controversial.
Yeah, no, you were good. You were good.
Okay.
No, but you were. It's let's hope that it will.
Okay, guys.
Happen.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. I love you. Call your mom. Call your dad.
Say I love you.
Say I love you.
Yeah.
And
it's tremendous to do.
It's just gonna take 60 seconds, not even. So this was the first podcast. To many more, hopefully. Unbox Exchange.
Yep. Unbox Exchange. Unbox.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.